Hi guys, Adam here. We've had a lot of fun making this show, and we really appreciate you listening. If you're a first-time listener, we wanted to give you a little bit of a heads up that the sound quality in some of our earlier episodes is not up to our usual standard for quality.
We really apologize for it. We're trying to be better, we promise. And Adam has been recently tried and convicted and facing corporal punishment. Thanks for sticking with us. Enjoy the show.
Good afternoon and welcome to the show. Today we're going to be talking about Sriracha hot chili sauce ketchup. And we have a little bit of royalty here with us this evening, Sir Kensington's spicy ketchup. We are delighted that you joined us here today, and we certainly hope you stick around. This is Soft Spoken.
Welcome back to Soft Spoken. This is the irreverent, somewhat comedic podcast offering a very small and uninteresting amount of information on sauces, condiments, and dips. I'm your co-host, Adam. Next to me is my co-host, Eric. Say hi, Eric.
Hey there, everyone. Next to me is my co-host, Tori.
How's everyone doing tonight? We're really glad to have you. Thanks for coming.
So, a bit of a rough week, I think, for all of us. I think we're all feeling a little bit down this week.
Oddly enough, though, it's one of the best weather weeks I think we've had in a while.
Oh, we forgot to talk about the weather last week. No one's commented on it yet, but that is, I think we did forget to cover the weather. This is a podcast about the historical database for the weather in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 2020, leading up to the apocalypse for you guys who find this after the event.
Noah seeks out our opinions constantly.
Speaking of events, there was a pretty large explosion in Beirut this week.
Yes, there was.
Lots of people died.
Quite
wiped
tragedy.
out pretty much their block, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, E?
Over 500 injured, I think 137 currently dead. One American, maybe. Got to know where to store your ammonia nitrate?
Nitrate, yeah, ammonium nitrate. At least that's what they're saying on their television.
Right.
Yeah. On counter the popular
Jet fuel can't melt steel beams. They're saying it was one of the. I'm not saying what. I don't know what one of the means, but they're saying it was one of the largest non-nuclear explosions in history.
Looking at the pictures, the video camera footage that it actually captured this is it's incredible that there's that few dead, honestly.
Yeah.
And
you were kind of hinting at a little bit of conspiracy there, potentially.
Oh,
Tori.
not me. Me, oh no, never. I would never partake in such crazy thinking. No. Well, for the sake of everyone here, and I'll keep my opinion, what I really think about it to myself. I just think it's a bit curious.
No, please enlighten us.
Well, no, I'll spare you. I don't want to be on any watch lists for any reason. So I'll keep that to myself. But I think just zooming out 15,000 feet, I think someone's responsible for it. I think the idea that you left close to 2,000 tons of a very explosive material next to a fireworks factory, it seems very, very convenient. And I'll leave it at that.
I do think it's kind of hard to debate that it does seem highly coincidental if it's not intentional.
I didn't hear that it was actually. I didn't. It's a port. It's not a fireworks factory.
It was fireworks factory next door to it. Well, yeah, that was the story when it first came out, but that dropped after people started going on.
Right.
The Mexican firework factory.
Well, it's kind of hard to know what was next to it at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
a hole in the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the before and after pictures?
Yeah.
That whole half of the thing is gone. It's now ocean.
Yeah, right.
It's been reclaimed by another healing sign of the earth in 2020. The ocean is reclaiming the land.
Yeah, those poor people. That's a terrible tragedy.
Yeah, it is a tragedy.
Side note, my grandfather got kicked out of his girlfriend's house for 14 days because he woke up feeling sore.
Oh,
wow.
That's interesting. How old is your grandfather?
I think he's 85.
He's giving it to this broad pretty good?
Better than I have.
Well, you stole my thunder. Yeah. I was going to say your granddad's out here macking
and I am not. Yeah,
famously not. How's your love life doing? We usually touch in on that at least once per episode. There's usually no change in status.
Dodge and evade.
I was going to say, can we compare his love life to the Beirut explosion? It's brief and
Tragic.
brief white explosion and tragic. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, maybe.
I get that there is probably more to it than just there was an explosion. But as far as whether or not it happened, which I think some people are in question of, well, my take on it is there's that many cell phone videos which seem legitimate. I mean, it's certainly something you could replicate with a movie theater, but it seems like that would be a lot of effort to go through.
Yeah, I mean, the story that I heard, and I'm well entrenched in all the internet wackos, but they said that this particular stockpile of ammonium nitrate was hanging around that particular dock for the course of 6 years. I mean, boy, that seems like an incredible liability.
Now,
I guess that's why they put stay-at-home orders on all the dock supervisors, because they're gonna charge them to probably give them death penalty sentences
I don't play games
for negligence. I mean, I get.
Now, that ammonium nitrate, is that a fertilizer?
I believe so.
It's a product of it.
Is that the same thing they used in the Oklahoma City bombing? Did I see that? Okay, is that correct? Okay.
That's exactly what, yeah.
Fertilizer bomb. Does anyone know what the mechanics of that sort of explosion are? What mechanically happens there? You're a chemist, aren't you? An amateur chemist in your spare time?
In training. We've got to be playing around with lots of resins. And
you make crystal meth in your basement is what I'm getting at, correct?
Me and my 3 teeth.
I'll Eric White. Now we'll all be on a list. If I'm not already on a list, I'll be disappointed, to be honest with you.
We're on somebody's list.
I'm on Ted Kaczynski's Christmas list. Speaking of lists.
So, did you get any new Kickstarter games this week? I know that we may not have mentioned this on the podcast before, but you have somewhat of a board gaming addiction.
Or addiction to Kickstarter in general.
Yeah.
I was itching. I was tempted this week, a couple days ago. I was actually bragging to my coworker how it's been a whole month. I haven't backed a single thing.
Oh, boy.
I'm trying to turn over a new leaf. I really need my 1 month coin, Somebody's to help me out.
You're trying to save more money for the crystal meth you're making, right? Yeah. Okay. And that also ties into the twitching you're having. So what prompted this change? Did you just run out of money?
That certainly plays a part. I think there's a lot of open things I've backed that haven't come through yet.
How much would you say you have open, kind of sitting out there on the market, unredeemed at this point, cash value wise?
I'm getting it tonight. Boy, I think.
Give us a rough estimate.
Huh?
Give us at least a number of figures.
Oh well, it's definitely 5, maybe 1,400.
1,400. $1,400.
That's 4 figures.
Oh, that'd be 4 figures.
14,000.
That's what I was trying to calculate first too. I was like, "Wait, hold on a second. 14,000? Is that what he means?"
No. 1,400. Sorry.
1,400.
Yeah, about 1,400.
He knows the exact number.
No, could be more. Could be less.
Yeah, we got to check you in, bro. That's a
Probably
problem.
a conservative figure to me.
Ooh, I don't know about that. That seems like a lot to me.
Now, of those, do you expect all those to ship, or do you think some of that is just lost to eternity at this point?
I only have 2 that are lost.
So far.
Right. Only 2 so far that are lost to eternity. I have some that are currently shipping. I have some that are communicating well, and I got some that are not. Take your chances when you're investing. Investing.
Much like other investments, they immediately lose value, correct?
Yeah,
That's
right.
how
What's the
investing
return
works.
on that?
There isn't a day that goes by that I don't use a Kickstarter or something.
Is that so?
That is so. Coffee cups there on the counter. Those are all Kickstarter.
Now, those could have also been Amazon purchases for half as much, and they would have gotten here in 2 days, correct?
That is not correct.
How so?
Yeah, what's the
Enlighten
story
us.
on these? Yeah.
They look like coffee. To be fair for the listeners, I'm looking at a black aluminum thermos-style coffee cup and a green one. Much of the variety that you could buy at Walmart.
The Ozark is exactly what they modeled them off of, so they can fit compatible with their proprietary filters for cold brew or tea, and they have lids that are more modeled off of the
Yetis.
Yeti. Yeah.
How much did you pay for these, if you don't mind me asking?
$32 a piece.
Ah, okay. I'm going to get on Walmart really quick here and see what these retail for.
I about fell off my chair.
An Ozark thermos. Let's just take a little... We'll zoom forward here in podcasting time and let you guys know when we find you.
I mean,
they're like $8, I think, the Ozark ones that don't have the filter or the nice lids.
you work for your money,
How
right?
much does a Yeti cost? Oh, $50? Oh, that's right. So they're cheaper than the Yeti, more than Ozark.
Middle of the road. Middle of the road.
Yeah, pretty much. Middle of the road.
Okay.
Oh, they come in 2-packs on Walmart.
Two of them for $6.
For $17. For half of what you paid for. Well, if it makes you happy, I guess ultimately that's the most important part.
Yeah, hell, it's your money, brother. It don't make a damn difference to me, right?
He is relying on the Sauce podcast to feed him for the week.
Leftover chicken nugget.
Well, what about you, Tori? Any impulse purchases in the past week?
Oh boy, I bought a new video game. I'm pretty stoked about that.
What are you playing?
It's called Forager. I'm certain you're familiar with it. Stardew Valley.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very Stardew Valley-esque.
Sounds relaxing.
That's what we're going for. Yeah, we like that a lot. I coined the term low consequence gaming.
Yes.
That I very much like. So I tend to stay away from your Dooms and your very type games where I will positively sit down with a City Skylines, a Forager, a Stardew Valley. Sadly, I don't have the technology for an Animal Crossing, but I'd be all over that. That whole flavor.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah. It's basically just a life simulator, but there's all these little cute kitty cats, and everything's real cutesy, and you just get a house in this new town, and the mayor, you meet the mayor, and you make friends, and I mean it's just a very relaxing experience. So yeah, I mean that was a whole $20. That was a digital download and instant, so I didn't have to wait for it at all. Yeah, that was nice. And I've been playing that pretty consistently. But I think I bought it Saturday.
Yeah, that'd be because PlayStation's having their 10th anniversary, I think, right?
They recently just had it. Yeah, I think it's in July is when the PlayStation Network celebrated their 10 years, excuse me. And I was patient of that. I was expecting they give 2 free games out every month, and the buzz was that they were going to really do some blockbusters for their 10-year anniversary, and they failed to do so.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What'd they give out?
To be very frank with you, I mean, I look every single month. The 6th of month, the 6th or 7th of the month is usually when they release, and I religiously check every time. And it made so much of an impact on me, I couldn't even tell you.
Wow!
I got a big email from PlayStation about how their anniversary sale was going to be taking place from, I think it was August 1st through August 10th. So
nice.
We got 4 more days. There's a bunch of stuff on sale. At least that's what.
Forager's a good pick, man. For $20, Stardew Valley, as a matter of fact, is free. Stardew Valley.
Hell of a deal.
It is, yeah.
I like free.
I paid $15 for it when it first came out, and I seen it was free, and that just made me madder than a wet hen. But you get that.
Now, I didn't know this was your philosophy on games, that you like to buy the more calming ones. I realized you were kind of into that, but I didn't realize that was the philosophy behind it.
As far as the no consequence game is concerned, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think Minecraft, in my opinion, was really the innovator. As far as that's concerned, outside of falling in lava or falling off a cliff, there are 0 consequences.
Right.
And, you can just hammer away doing whatever you want for hours and hours and hours, and your blood pressure never goes up. You never start sweating. It's a very nice, relaxing experience, to disconnect from the world around you.
I know nothing about games, but falling in lava sounds very consequential.
Oh yeah, that very, and I preface that. But if you're careful, you can, you don't have to be a dope about it.
I agree. I think it's pretty low consequence, and I think the lava was really, for a long time, you probably recall the original Minecraft, there was, I don't believe, any monsters whatsoever.
Yeah,
it was just essentially lava.
Yeah,
lava. I think even that was later edition.
And heights were a big problem too.
Oh, I thought that was a game.
It is.
It is. You think this is real life we're talking about?
No, I thought you're saying don't fall in lava is just part of Minecraft.
Yeah. That's not a game on its own.
It was a separate game. When you're saying titles, I thought you were saying titles of games. I was like,
Jesus Christ.
Fall in lava, that sounds very consequential.
You're out of the podcast. I hate to say it. If you can't rap about the games, you're out of the podcast. Did you play Halo when you were a younger man?
During that time, I was PlayStation through and through. So then, of course, we know Halo is proprietary to Microsoft.
Correct.
So by the time I got my Xbox, the reason why I got my Xbox, to be very honest with you, was the Fable series. The Fable series.
Classic.
And Gears of War.
Very good.
Yeah, which is the antithesis of
what you're just talking about.
Non-consequence gaming. Yeah, that is very, very high consequence.
Right.
Very scary, yeah. But yeah, so Fable was my that was my foray.
First foray
into the Xbox realm, and I haven't gone back since. The battery, the AA batteries in the controller killed me. where PlayStation always had batteries that were in
rechargeable, right?
Yeah, rechargeable. Yeah, you didn't take them out or nothing like
Right.
that. So, but Forager, I mean, for those who care, those who are listening, it's an indie game. It's $20. It's great. I've sunk a lot of time into it, and I intend on sinking a whole hell of a lot more time into it as well. But yeah, nice game. I'd recommend it.
I used to be something of an achievement hunter back on the old Xbox 360. My focus was more like the Call of Duty type thing.
Fair enough.
I used to be pretty, I mean, not as big into it like some people are, but I was pretty big into getting, 100% completion on games, things like that. And I've pretty much dropped off since then. I've gotten more into I just want to enjoy the game. And part of the reason for that is I just don't have the time to devote. I'm sure you can relate to that. When I was a kid, I used to, you could sit in front and play video games for 10 hours a day.
On a snowy Sunday, forget it.
Now I rarely get a chance to play many video games. But the reason I brought up the Halo thing is they have the Master Chief Collection, which, if you're familiar with, is a revamping of the original Halo series.
I've heard some scuttlebutt about that.
Yeah.
I don't know many details, but I've heard something about it.
So far, I believe we're recording this in August of 2020. At this time, I believe they've released Halo Reach, the first one, Combat Evolved, CE, Halo 2, and Halo 3, which I was waiting until they had released Halo 3 to purchase it because that was the one I kind of cut my teeth on, so to speak. One of the cool things they've done, I never played through the original Halo series, but I did have some fond memories of playing Halo 3 with my friends, couch co-op, back when that was a thing.
Couch co-op was the golden age, but
exactly.
continued.
One of the neat things about that is that they actually have a button on the controller that you can press, and it will toggle between the current updated graphics and the original graphics.
Oh, that's really neat.
So it's cool because that way you're not stuck with one or the other, and you can kind of appreciate the work that they put into updating that, and it does look dramatically better. Although I will say, I will say though that the original game, it's a little dark. If I have one criticism, it's a little bit, and I mean lighting wise, it is visually dark and it's hard to see. They definitely relied more on the flashlight mechanic than they did in the later games for the first one, which is what I'm playing through right now.
And I neglected to mention, silly me, Mass Effect was another reason why I had an Xbox 360 in my possession before they went multi-console.
Right.
Now you can get it anywhere. But when that was a Microsoft exclusive for a long time.
Yeah.
Don't mean to interject there, but I think that's definitely worth saying. One of the best video games probably ever made.
I think that's well agreed on.
Yeah.
As is Halo.
True. True.
I did introduce my girlfriend to the concept of the female AI they have in Halo is Cortana.
The same thing you got on your telephones, right?
Well, no. Well, if you have a Windows device, that is Windows AI, in which that was their intellectual property, and I haven't confirmed this, but I believe that's why on like your Windows 10 devices, the AI on there is named Cortana. So it kind of has a throwback to Halo.
Neat.
Little today I learned for you that I did not verify that, so please don't blast me if I'm wrong. I don't see how it could not be.
Yeah, right. The connection is way too obvious.
Very obvious, for sure. I always enjoyed the Blue versus Red series.
It's a cartoon, right?
Yeah.
Halo cartoon. Sheila was the tank and sort of the AI in that. I didn't even know that the original Halo had an AI named Cortana. What
do you have your AC set in here tonight, too, E? It's getting a little steamy in here.
73.
It's a very pleasant evening outside.
73 in here?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow, okay. That's pretty cool, I would say.
I'm very comfortable.
That's probably cooler than I would prefer it. It feels more like okay. Maybe the heat is on.
It's from all that spicy ketchup you were eating.
Could be.
Could have been. Even I'm actually feeling a little warm in it. Maybe it is the spicy ketchup.
Could be. Who knows?
I knew you guys were coming over, so I actually turned it down a couple notches, and I had the oven on for these chicken nuggets. So.
We have been kind of burying the lead a little bit here. We didn't really discuss much about the sauces so far, but that is kind of a little quick intro there. We are doing some spicy ketchups this week. Yeah, E, why don't you tell us what's that sauce you have there sitting in front of you?
So we have a Sriracha hot chili sauce ketchup.
You want to describe that container a little bit for us?
It is your classic Sriracha cock sauce, as a lot of my friends used to call it.
I thought you were going to say used to call you.
Has the rooster on the front. There's a green cap and a red bottle, and I think anyone who likes Sriracha is very familiar with that.
Very noticeable. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's an inverted bottle, as we discussed before with I believe on maybe a mustard episode we were talking about that.
That was just last week. Yeah.
Last week, yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah, so inverted, the label is intending to have the cap facing down. Tori, you want to tell us a little about the sauce you have there in front of you?
Yeah, certainly. This is a Sir Kensington. So there's also in the spicy mustard category. There's a proper, what did I say?
Mustard.
Oh, oops. Sir Kensington, this is also in the spicy ketchup category here. There's a proper looking young man on here with a very fancy mustache and a top hat and a monocle, reminiscent of the Monopoly man, Uncle Pennybags, I think that fella's name is. But yeah, so this is Sir Kensington. The label on it itself, it's not very, the bottle is very revealing, whereas in previous episodes we looked at bottles where the label was very busy and covered the entire bottle. This is not so much. You can see a great deal of the product, and the label itself is a nice navy blue, and there's ketchups and a little pepper. He looks like he's dancing, because he has legs, and he's dancing on those French fries. It's a non-GMO product for those who care.
And this is also another inverted container, which I think is interesting. Could you do me a favor really quick, Tori? Set that Sir Kensington's directly next to the Sriracha ketchup for a second.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with this, and I think you're right.
It seems to me, and you guys can agree or disagree, well, actually, maybe not. I was going to say it looks like the containers may have actually been made by the same manufacturer. They look almost identical.
There's some various markings up here on the top,
Right.
I guess, manufacturers, where that is a discrepancy.
Yeah, they do seem a little different.
Don't know what the hell those numbers and letters mean.
If you look at the very top, you can kind of see the difference in that protuberance there, that bulge. Looks a little different at the top of the can, top of the bottle.
I actually have to disagree. I think they are the same.
Oh, really?
And it's funny that you mentioned that navy blue, non-distracting. I think the whole navy blue doesn't say ketchup to me, you know?
It does say ketchup on the bottle, to be fair.
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Oh, okay, so they are the same bottle, at least appearance. Well, they appear to be the same bottle, possibly manufactured at the same plant.
Well, that'd be interesting.
That's what I'm curious, because here's what I'm getting at, is that these two sauces, at least based on what I could find, are not owned by the same company. These appear to be both independently sold and marketed. They're not both owned by Heinz or Kraft or something like that. They both appear to be their own thing.
If I may interject there and possibly disagree with you. Here I was under the impression that Sriracha was its own standalone sauce. Am I correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Down here at the bottom, it says from the makers of Red Gold.
I think that's like a holding company. I was doing a little looking into that earlier, and I think that's kind of like they make all the Sriracha products.
Oh, really? All of them, even the original.
I believe so. I could be wrong on that.
I'll be darned. Yeah, because the first ingredient is here. Might as well break this open now. Is Red Gold ketchup in the Sriracha?
Oh, okay. So maybe they're. So do you think they're the same product line then? Maybe.
I don't know. I was always under the impression that Sriracha was independent in and of itself, an island.
Right.
And I've heard of Red Gold, of course, but I never, I would never put those two in bed together outside of seeing it right here.
Okay. It does specifically say it is Hoi Fong Foods Sriracha Hot Chili Sauce is what's in this. So I don't know if that's
the original.
I assume there may be other. I know there are more than one Sriracha type sauce. I'm not sure what I didn't do a whole lot of research into the history and nomenclature on that, but
why not now?
We can do it now. We can do a little bit of. I actually do have the wiki
I
up
heard
here.
a rumor that I almost want to say that Sriracha sauce is a uniquely American creation, though. I always like to think it's.
Well, it does say here in the United States, Sriracha is associated with a sauce produced by Hai Fong Foods and is sometimes referred to as rooster sauce or cock sauce. It says the origin is debated, but it does, after a cursory glance here, it does seem like it was in the Asian region originally. Okay. So
interesting. Well, this is distributed by Red Gold, our friends at Red Gold in the Heartland, Elwood, Indiana. So I think that's about as American as it gets.
Okay.
And the Sir Kensington's is out of Kensington's and Son, New York.
Where in New York is it the city?
New York City.
Oh, oof. Big Apple.
Big Apple.
Oh boy, look out.
It's good.
I'd be inclined to agree. I would certainly be inclined to agree. I really like this color in navy blue. I'd like to have a nice polo shirt of that
T-shirt?
color. Yeah. Something,
So it does appear that Sriracha is a Red Gold brand. So I do believe that is they're all, and I could be wrong about this. Feel free to.
So my man Hung Foy sold out to Red Gold LLC.
That's how it appears.
Wow.
They seem to have a number of other brands here, which I'm not familiar with. So going back to what I was saying there, I do believe that they are, kind of their own thing. I don't believe Sir Kensington has any association with Sriracha or Red Gold at all. So they must be buying, at the very least, a similar designed bottle.
Do we do any research that any other lines within the Sir Kensington? Any other condiments we should be aware of?
There are actually. They have quite a large lineup of products, which I can't even begin to get all. Obviously, they have your basic ketchup, but they also have a variety of other products. Let me see if I can pull some up here.
Where did you stumble upon these?
These were, what do they call it? Blue Light Special was Kmart, right?
Yes.
These were, what do they have at Walmart? Rollbacks?
Yes.
Yeah, these were, for those of you not old enough to remember, Walmart used to have a rollback slogan. They used to give out little smiley face stickers too.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a real throwback.
Well, even for you older timers, when the Blue Light Special would come on at Kmart.
Yeah, that's what I say.
They had a real blue light though.
I'm sure there are people who are legally adults now who have probably never set foot in a Kmart.
Yeah, and they're probably better off for it.
Well, yeah, they had their time.
In my opinion, I always thought a Kmart looked as if a garage sale had the ability to vomit, that's what Kmart would be.
I do think it's interesting. I almost look at the existing Kmarts. The ones that are still more or less surviving. Last I knew, there were still some. They're almost like museums to the 90s. Have you guys been in one recently in the past couple of years?
With incredibly dirty aisles. Yeah, you can't even walk through them, yeah.
Yeah, they've definitely they look simultaneously from the past and also from a post-apocalyptic future. I think would be a fair way to, almost like Fallout-esque.
Ooh, getting back to the video game.
Yeah.
Very good.
They're like a paler, more sterile, but not in a good way, like most more like stale, they'll say, than like Target. Yeah, I see
absolutely.
A lot of similarities though in like Target and Kmart.
If Kmart and Target existed within the same timeline, Target would tar and feather Kmart.
Yes.
Kmart couldn't hold a candle.
Right. Did Kmart have their own brands? I know they eventually acquired Sears. But...
I know for a fact that they had their own brand in terms of fertilizers, topsoils, the bagged goods. Yeah, the Westview one had the garden center.
Oh yeah, was it
K-Grow?
K-Grow? Okay,
was the brand, at least their garden section. I don't know if it was housewares and
okay, that's what I was getting. I wanted the brand name.
Yeah. But that was certainly the brand name in garden, K-Grow.
K-Grow. But I think Kmart was actually one of the first to pioneer kind of that like food court in the store. I think that was kind of one of their. I could be totally wrong on this, but they had like the Little Caesars and the icy things. I believe they were one of the first to do that.
Inside of, I don't even remember that.
I think they were doing that before Walmart and before Target. I mean, Target is famously, I think, now associated with Starbucks. I think they have a Starbucks in every.
They're inseparable.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think Kmart were one of the pioneers for that. That was like a novelty. Come in and get a slice of hot and shitty Little Caesars. Yeah. I actually like Little Caesars. I don't want to shit on them too much. They're pretty good. I mean, they're $5 for a hot and ready pizza.
I guess
that's Domino's. That's Domino's.
No, that's Little Caesars.
Little Caesars.
$5 hot and ready pizza.
Domino's is following suit now.
Oh, okay.
Little Caesars was first.
Okay.
I didn't know Domino's was doing that.
Yeah, they are. And
equally as bad, by the way.
Domino's also has a line of sauces we could get to.
Maybe we shouldn't sit on too bad yet then.
Yeah, right. Send us some sauce.
I always thought that the big box, like your Costco, BJ's wholesale clubs back in the early 90s were the first ones to really pioneer the idea of like, hey, have a hot dog, have a slice of pizza while you shop in our giant warehouse. That could be. That's why it was under the belief of.
My goal with this podcast is that I don't research anything beforehand because I think that it's one of those internet rules that people don't care about something until you're wrong, and then they pile on to attack you when you are wrong. But, like I say, any publicity is good publicity. So
I'm not even certain Nostradamus could tell you that we'd be talking about Kmart.
Right. Well, we went off on a real tangent there, which is fine. We have a tendency to do that. And if anyone's still listening, I'd like to think they find that endearing.
Very well. We're happy you stayed.
I don't know why. Yeah, I'm just going to say, you know what, I did this. I like to do this. I did this once before with Arby's and it turned out to be right. I'm going to say that Kmart was, in fact, the first to ever have food in a store.
You're right. I did fact check you on the Arby's thing. I mean, I was just bored on the internet, but it wasn't a an in and a boo boo job. But I was very proud of you. You nailed it. That was definitely an Ohio institution.
I do like to take hard stands on things and just kind of roll the dice. I feel like that. I'm a gambling man. I think that's a little fun.
So we'll fact check you later, and then later episodes will come up and be like, oh yeah, by the way. You're right.
To be clear, let me be clear. I am certain that I am wrong with that statement. So I am going to get. I'm welcoming the blasting that I'm going to get for saying that incorrectly. We're having fun with it. It's better to take a hard stand on something.
Heck yeah! I mean, geez, my memory's going back here. There's a lot of retailers very, very similar to Kmart that's come and gone. Yeah, there was Hills, and Ames. Yeah, exactly.
Who had? I think Ames had popcorn. Wasn't that their thing? Popcorn for kids?
Yeah, they had the popcorn.
They were the second, I believe, store to offer food.
Yeah, we can go all the way back. Macy's probably maybe had something inside their department store.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I think Macy's are a pretty old one. I think that they were like one of the OG department stores.
Yeah, they got that parade, man.
Right.
But I don't know if they ever had food or if they for food now.
I think they're trying to cultivate a little bit of a more highbrow image than the Kmart, perchance.
The Kmart crew, yeah.
That's true.
The Kmart Little Caesars combo.
Fine dining.
Fine dining. I don't think anyone has ever ordered that Little Caesar feed. I don't think it's ever been ordered from Kmart.
Fine dining. They actually are doing that now, though. In some of the department stores, you can get they have a cocktail bar in their shoe department.
I did see that too. Yeah. There's
right.
Yeah, I did see that.
So they're riffing off of
Theaters too are really moving towards that, especially I think the AMC's have a dine-in with limited service. Basically, eat a full service dinner at your seat in the movies.
I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold out for that because I think as recently as I understand with the movie industry has been taking a real hammering, so I wouldn't hold out for any. I think AMC was facing bankruptcy there, so I wouldn't hold out for any of those in our.
Dang.
It could be wrong. Maybe that was the Alamo Draft House.
No, it's AMC.
It could be both. I think Alamo Draft House also does that, doesn't it? Because
I meant filing for bankruptcy.
Oh yeah. No, it's definitely AMC filing for bankruptcy. Yeah, but if they don't start playing movies, they're all going to be filing for bankruptcy. It's not going to matter, I think.
Oh, no more movies. What are we going to do?
I actually like going to the movies.
I don't mind it, but
I'm prepared to die over this. Fighting over this.
There's
AP and his hard stance again.
There's nothing new, man. It's all the same regurgitated nonsense, and usually it's done poorly.
Yeah, that is true. There is a theory, I don't know what you guys think about this, but there is a theory that the world is a simulation that essentially stopped with 9/11, and we kind of woke up after that happened. That's why everything since then has been kind of a poor repeat of things that happened prior to 9/11, is that we're in kind of an ideal Matrix-esque style.
This is ideal.
Well, no, we were before that happened. We were in kind of a Matrix-esque ideal simulation experience, and that we were trying to subconsciously get back to that now.
I heard the same thing, but the turning point, the watershed moment, was when Harambe was shot and killed.
That actually makes more sense.
I heard that exact same idea, but just shift the that quantum break point up a couple years.
And there's probably kids these days that haven't heard of Harambe either. Another national tragedy. I think I would say on par with coronavirus, potentially.
The death of Harambe?
Yeah. Pretty close.
Arguable.
Forgot where I was going with that.
Got me, bro.
There was also speculation that when they said the Mayan calendar, the world was ending in 2012, that they actually reversed those last two dates, and it's actually ending in 2021. Which at this point, the rate we're going seems like more accurate than 2012. Which I think was a fine year, if I recall.
Yep, I would certainly agree with that. The writing on the wall. If you take a look at some various news stories that's happening in the world, you can draw some serious parallels if if you pay attention, if you care that much.
We've gotten really deep into Fringe tonight. We're going to start talking about Illuminati and New World Order and Masonic. We're going to be starting our own Masonic lodge here. I did see
Epstein didn't kill himself.
I was browsing.
We're going to lose some viewers.
We might gain some too. I mean, if they're listening this long, they clearly have no standards anyways. So let's get back to our sauces for the night. We got Sir Kensington's. We got Sriracha ketchup. We did talk last week about maybe trying some of these in advance and kind of sitting on them a little bit before we we wanted to get a little bit, I think, a wider variety of feedback. So we actually did that with the Sriracha mayo. I procrastinated a little bit with the
ketchup.
What?
Sriracha ketchup. I kind of procrastinated. I was doing that constantly last week, too. If you notice that I kept constantly calling it Sriracha mayo, because that's the big hipster thing, you know. It would take me a while to get used to this ketchup idea, even though that should make more sense.
It's the only one at the table who once had a man bun. Will take your word for it.
Yeah, right. And you're the ketchup boy, are you not?
I was the ketchup boy as a wee lad. That's
Okay.
correct.
Yeah.
I think there's another one of us amongst our friend group who's more of a ketchup boy now.
He is a ketchup beast. He is a ketchup leviathan.
Right, that's correct. So we did try the Sriracha ketchup last Friday. We did have hot dogs, which were the closest thing, I think, to an appropriate thing to have that on. At least that's what we thought in
At the
advance.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at the time that seemed logical. We did not try the Sir Kensingtons in advance. I was trying to remember some of the group feedback from last week. Do you remember some group feedback from anyone on the Sriracha that was outside of kind of our little triumvirate here?
Well, I don't think it differed much from our own thoughts.
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone was in line. I think it's probably good to say that it was us three plus our various significant others and then two other boneheads.
Yes, that's correct. And did everyone try it, or just did some people try it? There was alcohol at this point, so I'm a little fuzzy on the details.
We're fuzzy for sure.
Okay. I remember it was not. I think we were, like you said, we are burying the lead a little bit here, but I think we were all kind of in agreement that it was a less than satisfactory experience to some extent.
No question.
E, do you want to talk about maybe some of your thoughts on the initial taste there?
Yeah, my initial taste, I just remember it being.
And you tried this on a hot dog, right?
I tried it on a hot dog. So I remember eating. I had a full meal, and then I was like, "Oh wait, I gotta try the sauce." So I got myself a nicely charred hot dog and put a big glob of this Sriracha ketchup on my plate. And proceeded to eat just the dog dipped into Sriracha ketchup and copious amounts of it. And it was hot. It was spicy. It was exactly what you think Sriracha and ketchup blended together would be. Personally, I'm just not a huge Sriracha fan, so...
What did you think about that, Tori, there?
I couldn't agree with you more. I'm not the biggest Sriracha fan out there either. It's okay. I don't, some people go absolutely cuckoo for it. Certainly not my thing. But you hit the nail on the head, E. Someone took a squeeze bottle of ketchup and a squeeze bottle of Sriracha and put it all in one vat, mixed it together, and this is what you have. I know I've mentioned it at least once that I don't like ketchup to begin with. The spice can come or go. I like a spice for the sake of tasting, not spice for the sake of spice. I think that's stupid. But with that being said, it was... I got my notes here. It was we had on chicken nuggets tonight. I think that's probably reasonable to mention now. I thought it was downright bad on chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
I don't think these chicken nuggets or anything stand out. I don't think they're anything tremendous or great.
He did a poor job cooking them, too. Let's be clear on that. He undercooked the chicken nuggets.
Well, I guess the point I'm making is you know what you're getting into with the chicken nugget, and I just thought it was plain bad. There's really no way to explain it. On Friday when we had the pre-taste test, I gave a little squirt on my pinky finger, and I wasn't really impressed then either, to be frank with you. But I will say that I thought the Sriracha sauce, crazily enough, was better alone, which doesn't make any damn sense to me, because who in the hell eats sauce alone, by itself? I'm going to get a straw for this garbage? Are you kidding me? No.
Right.
That is very interesting. See, I actually, tonight, think it tastes better on the chicken nuggets than it did on the hot dog.
Huh. See, I'm in agreement with Tori, actually. I tried a little bit. I didn't want to taint any of my food that I was enjoying with this. And
totally agree with that.
I am in exact line with you there. I am not a fan of Sriracha, and I'm glad we're getting out of kind of that craze that our particular branch of the world was. Usually trends start out in California, so I'm assuming that was a trend in California probably 5 years ago, and it's a trend in Pittsburgh 2 years ago. With the
a little behind the times.
Sriracha there in everything, especially the aiolis, the mayos, Sriracha buns, the Sriracha covered chicken fried bullshit, and it was just, it's not good. I'm a big fan of hot sauces. I at any given time I have 4 to 5 hot sauces sitting on my table at home. This That is my least favorite and the only one that I refuse to buy. That being said, I think it has its place for certain dishes, and I know that certain people really like it and swear by it, and that's the only hot sauce they have. I could not disagree more, and I do not feel that it is improved by the addition of ketchup in any way. I'd also like to say that I think that if you separated these two sauces, I think the ketchup wouldn't be good either. I have never tried this their particular brand of ketchup, but based on that, I can't imagine it would be in any way better than Heinz.
I would agree. Yeah, I think you're taking two, for lack of a better term, mediocre ingredients, mixing it together, and making something that's possibly even more mediocre than the ingredients that comprised it.
Yeah.
And that is wasteful.
Yeah. We do like to give a full rundown, no less than 15 minutes, on the ingredients and the sauces. So since we talked about that, there is the red gold ketchup with the various ingredients. There's some onion powder, spices, etc. There's a Sriracha sauce and your classic potassium sorbate and sodium bisulfite as preservatives. I think that is, like you said, pretty much exactly what you're talking about. A subpar ketchup mixed with a subpar hot sauce. This is, I think, subtraction by addition. I think we've ended up with a worse overall result. I would rather have either one of the separate ones on their own, and I would prefer not to have either one of those.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you can go ahead and hold on to those two for sure for me. With the red gold you mentioned, and this may be my incredibly fevered imagination, but is red gold not a dollar store brand?
That's a good question. To me, that's one of those things I pay no attention to because I have no interest in off-brand ketchups.
I see that label and it invokes a corny, campy dollar store type feel to me. And I could be totally off base here. I don't know,
right.
And being from Pittsburgh, the Heinz capital of the world, everything in comparison may be a dollar store ketchup. I don't know, but
people will send us emails and let us know, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, please.
I know I'm maybe way off here, but I think isn't there a yellow gold? They make corn oil.
Yes, I believe that's correct.
They also are based here in Pittsburgh. I think they're actually based right here in Carnegie.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. We passed by their plant.
Yeah. Right. What are you getting at here? This is no relation.
Yeah, it's a vegetable.
Oh, wait, it does say on here, yellow gold corn oil is one of... No, I'm just kidding. No. You fucking idiot.
Oh. No, but red gold, yellow gold, I just want to... Either it's a play on their name, or is it actually an all offshoot of? In which case,
it seems like their own thing.
Gold is just... Well, that's true. That's odd.
I did look up their associated brands. I did not see anything about yellow gold. Visually, I would say this one is probably pretty much identical to a Heinz ketchup. It's got that bright yellow, highly homogenized texture.
Yellow?
Yeah, bright yellow. This is yellow, right? I'm not having a stroke. Bright red that is typically associated with Heinz ketchup and highly homogenized, very smooth. Sugary.
Tangy. You get the tang. You get the
a little bit. I think less vinegar than the Heinz is, which is kind of in a little bit of contrast to our Sir Kensington's.
For sure. As you went through the ingredients of that one, this one I'm going to summarize real quick here. It's just tomato paste, cane sugar, water, onions, distilled vinegar, salt, jalapeno peppers, lime juice, and some chipotle pepper, chili pepper also.
That's interesting. Chipotle pepper's in that, huh?
Yeah, it has a better flavor to it, that's for sure. I think that
what I was getting at there was that if you look at the texture of it even,
it has more grit to it, more chunk. It has actually something to it that actually looks more like what you'd expect a sauce to really look like, not so homogenized as you mentioned the other previous one there.
Yeah, it almost kind of looks, I think we had all agreed, in a cup, it actually kind of looks like a tomato paste almost. A little bit darker, brown. It almost looks like a barbecue sauce from a distance.
Or even like a cocktail sauce with the way it has like that.
Horseradish.
Chunky horseradish to it, yeah.
So what were your thoughts on that, Eric?
Sweeter, not so spicy, more palatable. Still a ketchup with a little bit of a kick. That's cool. Still not something I'm really going to go crazy over, but I liked it more than the Sriracha ketchup.
The one thing I noticed is that the Sriracha, the heat kind of hits you immediately, whereas with the Sir Kensington, you get kind of more of that rich taste initially, and then the heat kind of slowly is almost ramped up, almost kind of like a fader,
For sure. The third ingredient is sugar.
Oh, yeah. And I also I'm more of a fan of that, of that smokier, more subtle spice, probably coming from the chipotle peppers.
Chipotle pepper, the jalapeno pepper, and the allspice. Yeah.
Over the sriracha, which I believe is some kind of Thai pepper, perhaps, or something.
You're right. Yeah.
Tori, what did you think about that, Sir Kensington?
My man, Sir Kensington, Sir Ketchup. He was a sleeper. He was sleeping on me. I was blown away. I've mentioned this. Heck, I mentioned this within the last 20 minutes. Yes, I don't like ketchup. Ketchup is probably my bottom shelf condiment that I would reach for under any circumstance. But Sir Ken, he surprised me. I liked it a lot. I mean, to play into what you boys were saying, for sure. Even the top of you can see through that clear bottle, which I love. You can see a lot of the product through the clear bottle. The label is nice and clean and concise. I like that a lot. I compared it to, I know you mentioned tomato paste. I put it in the marinara sauce category, without the parsley, of course.
Yes.
But as far as appearance wise, I certainly put that in the marinara sauce category, which was also surprising because I can't stand marinara sauce on its own at all, which is just weird. I don't. If it's on pizza, I'm not gonna dunk like a breadstick in it. That's just stupid to me. Or a cheese stick for that.
I would.
That's just crazy. I don't know. And maybe because I have an issue with heartburn and acid and things like that.
Oh, I think that's probably it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But thickness, I really liked. It had a nice, dare I say, a toothiness, if you will. It's and again, the homogenized, the incredibly smooth processed sriracha, and this may be a product of good manufacturing too.
Right.
There may not be any reflection on the quality of the ingredients or anything like that. But the thickness I did like. I thought it was incredibly tomatoey. So to your point, the tomato paste, both in visual and in a taste aspect. And again, I sound like a broken record here, but it hit me late with the spice. So I'll attribute that to the chipotle as well. But man, my man Sir Ken, he surprised the bejesus out of me. I like it a lot.
On your comment about the ingredients, they actually do talk it up a little bit on their label here. They try and say they really are no gluten-free and no high fructose corn syrup. So they really do try and talk up like a premium ingredients. But back to your red gold, which I don't know why you attribute that to a low brand or a dollar store. I think this one particularly comes across to me as like very bland. I'd look over this
really
dollar.
Wow.
To me,
I actually think it's a classy packaging.
I think it's very classy. I think it's clean and concise. It's not like that wild style where it's all over the place. Holy, give me one thing to look at. Give me one thing to digest here.
Well, it kind of seems like almost like your video game preference. It's kind of a more calming design. It makes you feel a little more relaxed.
Yeah, that's what we like.
It's calming. I get it.
And it's kind of just a simple cartoonish look. Kind of more to what you were getting at there earlier. They say on their website, less sugar, less salt, and only non-GMO ingredients.
I'm curious as to when you say less than, that implies a comparison. Less than what?
There's no asterisk on here, so I don't know what that would be referring to. I'm assuming that they're throwing some shade on Heinz, but I have nothing to base that on.
I can really appreciate their approach. On the back of the label here, it says, thoughts, ? DM us at their particular at, which I'm still very much an Instagram novice. I'm not even sure if the at thing speaks to, but that to me speaks to a marketing department that's forward thinking.
Right. I believe there was a question that arose earlier about some of their other products, and they obviously have a classic ketchup. They make a couple different types of mayo, including an avocado oil mayonnaise. They have a chili lime sauce, a classic ranch, I believe some sort of vinaigrette, and something I was more interested in for maybe future podcasts, but a line of mustards, one of which particularly tantalizing looking spicy brown mustard.
I for one, would sign up immediately to try anything else outside of the Sir. What's his title? He was knighted. Okay, he's a Sir. Sir Kensington line. I was going to call him Mr., and that would be a tremendous disrespect. Yeah,
it would be. It is really good flavor-wise. I mean, compared to the Sriracha ketchup, like I said, it was a kind of a sleeper. I mean, I do like it more than that one. And actually, right on the back, they even talk about if you're a fan of the heat, try our Chipotle Mayo or our Buffalo Ranch.
Chipotle is another one of them flavors that really hit the hipster scene and blew up.
Now that one I'm totally on board with. That one really made my life when I discovered the Chipotle Tabasco. There was a period of time where they were only stocking that in Chipotle restaurants, and you couldn't find it in stores.
I remember those days.
Now, I would never advocate for theft, but if you can't get your hands on your favorite sauce any other way, you got to do what you got to do to survive.
Right. You have another choice.
Yeah, they have four different mustards for Sir Kensington. A honey mustard, a Dijon mustard, the classic yellow, and the aforementioned spicy brown, which I think is the most visually appealing, but I would be down to try any of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sign me up for it. The way I was not expecting a lot from the Sir.
Right.
But boy, he surprised me like crazy.
We kind of threw that in. I purchased that as a bit of an afterthought. I thought that originally I had hoped the Sriracha ketchup could stand on its own for an episode. And we kind of decided as a group last minute to throw it into this episode. We were debating doing it for next week's episode. But to be honest with you, I was kind of nauseated at the thought of trying any more of that Sriracha ketchup. And I was really happy that we had something here that was different to break it up.
Cut that horribleness.
Yeah. So I was thankful for that.
One contrast that I found to be particularly interesting, and I know you boys remember this. Remember how hard we dug into our buddy Paul Newman?
Yes.
Do you recall?
Absolutely.
And we made the comment, I remember this distinctly, that Paul Newman does not have any high fructose corn syrup in his product.
Yes.
And neither does Sir Kensington. Which I'm not saying that, I'm not making certainly a direct comparison. However, I do find it so peculiar that the Paul Newmans also had no corn syrup, being equally bad. Maybe the point I'm making is, you can't, whether or not there's high fructose corn syrup or not doesn't necessarily make it a good sauce. I mean, I know we're all good Americans here, right? We like that type of thing. But boy, yeah, I just can't say enough good things about that.
I do like soda, or pop as I call it. We have to appeal to cross-country listeners. Soda pop. I do prefer that with cane sugar. I think it has almost and that might be totally imaginary, but I think it has a little bit more of a crisp bite to it than the high fructose corn syrup.
I would agree with that. I think it's almost slightly sweeter. And then, in almost way like it's like crisper, or it just dies off quicker. Like it's really, really sweet, but then it just doesn't linger the way like a corn syrup kind of
Right.
does.
Doesn't feel like it coats your mouth as much, maybe.
Right.
I don't know.
One thing we didn't bring up yet, what was the price point?
Very good question. I don't recall specifically. I believe they were similar price points. I believe they were both under the $4 range.
I was thinking $3.
Yeah, I think that they weren't the cheapest ones, and I want to say, especially the Sir Kensington, I think the Sriracha, they were going a little bit for the novelty and the craze aspect of it, but I think that they were similarly priced, definitely under $5, I believe. I did want to kind of circle around to the barbecue one more time. I have a little bit of a bone pick with that still, because I feel like I was having a little bit of a mental episode on that episode that we recorded, because I keep trying those, and that Paul Newman's is definitely not good, but I can't get onto that open pit either. I've tried on several things since then, and I think we're going to have to revisit that in a further episode. That open pit just has not done it for me on anything I've tried it on since then. It was good that initial time.
With chicken nuggets.
Yeah. And ever since then, some pulled pork and stuff, it just wasn't doing it for me. So we may have to revisit that in the future.
Isn't that something? I would have expected that.
It was, and my memories of it weren't fond, and I was quite surprised when we tested it that it was my favorite.
Did you say it was your favorite?
Yeah, it was my favorite. It was my favorite of the ones we tested.
Of the bunch, yeah.
The bunch, huh?
Yeah, and I think we all kind of agreed on that.
I think I said I liked the Burmans, but
Yeah, the Burman. Now the Burmans, I do think it was. In retrospect, I do think that was the best of the bunch. But let's get around to maybe our ratings. Tori, do you want to kind of lead us off there with that? So I think we're all in the same ballpark for the Sriracha. You want to lead us off with that one?
Yeah, no question. It's terrible. I would be totally okay if I never seen that bottle, that product, and that whole line ever again. It was awful. I'm not certain I would give it to an enemy of mine. If I was eating, I don't know, a hamburger that spent an incredibly long time on the grill, that was a hockey puck, that was just grody beyond belief. And the only thing I had in my refrigerator was this Sriracha hot sauce. And the only reason why I would put it on, just for the sole sake of moisture, and I was dying of hunger by the way. Yeah, that would be the only circumstance in which I would eat it. It's awful. I think a 0 might be a little harsh based on maybe a 1, maybe.
All right. I'll call it a 1. I think that's fair, and that was kind of tying into what I was thinking too. Like and we discussed this more when we were doing that. What was it? The wild style garlic aioli type sauce. What would you put this on? Because here's my thing.
There you go.
You're kind of talking that sriracha, which has kind of like that, I guess, Asian heat, if you want to put it that way, which to me kind of lends itself to, an Asian cuisine. And then you have ketchup, which lends itself to pretty much a solely American cuisine. There's not too many...
Junk food by the boot, yeah.
So where do those two things meet? Maybe like a banh mi burger or something like that? I have no idea what you would put this on. What kind of fusion dish would require a sriracha ketchup?
I think it's out there for the fans of sriracha. I personally am not going to give it a terrible rating just because it's sriracha and it's ketchup. It is what it is, and it's...
It's bad.
It's bad. On my personal rating, I would say, yeah, sure. It's like a 3.5, maybe.
Okay.
But, if I had a choice between the sriracha ketchup or this Sir Kensington's spicy ketchup, again, label-wise, I would have gravitated to what I know, which is the sriracha.
Right. Which is what I did first. I did buy that one first, to be fair.
Just right, based on the history of it and the popularity and whatever, the hype. But the Sir Kensington is a lot better. I would say it's like a 4.5. It's, or even, I might even say 5.5. It's better than ketchup because it actually has something more to it. It's a little more exciting. Yeah, I think I'll give it a 5.5.
We're just going to do the ratings for the sriracha first, but that's okay.
Oh, well,
my man's going both.
I'm going all the way. This is that. I'm not going to dog, the sriracha sauce. I actually had 2 roommates years ago who loved sriracha sauce, and they also did a lot of Oriental cooking though. And I have to admit, their meals were when they offered to share, they were excellent. They were spicy, flavorful. It was really good, and I was really impressed at how well they used the sriracha sauce. I was always leery about it. I never was a fan of it before. Hanging out with them, I was like, hey, that's not that bad of a sauce. Not that I haven't bought it since then. I haven't gone out of my way to go get it or learn any recipes that use it.
That speaks volumes.
Does it? Maybe it speaks to my laziness.
Troy, well, let's ramp it back over there. What do you, if you wanted to give a rating to the Sir Kensington, what would you be giving that one?
I was very, very pleasantly surprised. I liked it a great deal. I'm not a big fan of ketchup. It wouldn't be my top condiment. However, on chicken nuggets, I thought they went very, very, very well. On French fries, I think they would do very, very well.
Oh, yeah.
I was very, very pleasantly surprised. And this was certainly the redemption from that sriracha, which you brought up an interesting point there. I think the rooster on the front, I think that brand recognition is really the only thing that's driving its sales, because the taste certainly isn't. But with that being said, the Sir Ketchup, I thought it was terrific. I thought it was great. I'll give it an 8.
Very good. Very good. Well, I'll kind of close this out here. I think that kind of what I was getting at there, if I can't think of a single food that I would want to have this on, I have a lot of trouble rating it very high. I don't remember what we gave that wild style or wild side, whatever it was, but I actually think this is worse than that. And I truly can't imagine a single food I would be interested, much less excited to have this sriracha ketchup on. And I think I'm going to be right down there with Tori. I think I'm going to give it, if we're going based on Heinz ketchup being a 5, I think this is worse both from the sriracha and from the ketchup perspective. I think I'm going to have to give it like a 1.5, maybe. And I think that's being pretty generous considering there's nothing I would eat this on.
That's brutal.
The Sir Kensington, I think that I would probably go, for some variety, I would definitely, now on fries, I think that would be on some good, crispy, greasy fries, some salt on there. I think that would really hit. That being said, how much more do I like it than regular ketchup? I think for the sake of variety, to mix it up a little bit, I could definitely see going like a 6 for that. It's not a staple. It's not something I would feel like I would need to have on hand for any particular meal. But, if you wanted to bring like some regular ketchup, some spicy ketchup, have a variety of dipping sauces for some fries or something, I definitely think it has its place there, without a doubt.
I even think, could be way off base here, but ketchup is so universal. It's just so everywhere in your face all the time. What if it wasn't? Like, could you imagine a world where you go to McDonald's and there isn't ketchup? You go to Burger King, people, your everyday cookout, and there's just, an alternate reality where there's just mayo and mustard.
That's not a world I want to live in.
Well,
I'd be okay with that.
I guess where I'm getting at, though, is that, like, you're saying you don't see yourself using this on a particular product.
Right.
Or a particular food. If you're looking for something to mix it up, if you're looking for something that brings spiciness, and the vinegar and the tomato and the whole, if you're someone new to ketchup, this could be an interesting sauce.
New to ketchup. I would like to shake that man's hand. Who in the hell is new to ketchup? It's an interesting point, though. I mean, given with the alternate reality thing you were talking about, you pull someone out of the upside down, like you mentioned, in a ketchup-free world. It'd be interesting to take his take, get his take on it or her take.
I think if you found a caveman or a Sasquatch or someone like that, who hadn't had exciting flavors, I think if they could get over the initial heat of this, I think that might excite them, kind of in the same way that they might get excited about fire.
The simple things.
Yeah, it's an improvement over nothing if you've never had any flavor on anything before, I guess. If you want to look at it from that perspective. That all being said, if I had my choice, I'd still pick the Sir Kensington.
No question. No doubt.
Same here, even. Absolutely.
I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up for our review of these two sauces here, Sir Kensington's Spicy Ketchup and the Sriracha Spicy Ketchup. E, you got any closing thoughts to leave us with?
Nope. Be safe. Watch out for the apocalypse.
Tori, any words of wisdom?
We were talking about the Sriracha sauce today, and I think a lot of people would disagree with us. As we mentioned, it's sweeping the nation if it hasn't swept it already, and I think a lot of people would argue that it certainly has its place. Everything has its place. And so do you. You have your place. You just got to go out and find it. So I wish you the best of luck in doing that.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Another Pittsburgh institution.
That's right.
Well, thanks for joining us this week, guys. Then we'll embrace you next week with love in our hearts and tenderness on our minds.
And chicken nuggets in our bellies.
And Sriracha ketchup in the trash.
There you go.
All right. Good night.
Wow, what a show. Don't forget to drop us a line. Our email is saucespoken@gmail.com. Why don't you stop on by on Twitter? We're at saucespoken. We'd love to hear from you. Send us a recommendation or a request. We'd be happy to hear from you. And finally, on Instagram, we take goofy pictures every once in a while. We like to throw them on there. That's going to be Sauce Spoken Official. Please share us with your family and friends. Give us a review, a subscription. It would be an honor. Or just a little note down there at the bottom. Just let us know how we're doing. That would be terrific. We are Sauce Spoken. Really glad to have you here tonight. Thanks for listening.